Welcome everyone to Startup Impact Series. I'm Nick van Breda.
And I'm Fionna Faulk.
So I give some examples. For example, this is a standard textbook that we had. I show to camera.
And this is for the France.
It's a French
curriculum.
one, yeah. And basically, this is just tailored to the coding curriculum that we have, but embodies insights for helping teachers to implement it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Vanna right now.
But so they have a coding curriculum. So this is actually
Yeah.
for in their curriculum.
Yeah.
But a lot of schools, also in the Netherlands, it's not mandatory to do
No.
coding.
So that's why
It's like media wijsheid, as we call it.
That's crazy.
yeah.
Media wisdom.
Exactly. So there they can use this as a project-based program, and we also have some training centers, actually partner training centers in different countries, and they can help the schools to. They provide kind of service to help them. But there's also books written, for example, like this. It's by a Spanish professor. It's about one of the products called Halo Code. It's a single board computer, basically. So it's an activity-based book. They're helping you to understand where to, how to implement projects there.
Yeah.
But I think eventually our target or our goal is to still transform all the teachers so that they can actually have their own activities.
Yeah.
And we have seen a lot of teachers. They are really good. I've seen a lot of teachers in Italy, for example. They are really good at implementing the activities into their schools, and they're really actively thinking about what to do.
Yeah.
And then we hope that we can help the major group of teachers by using the STEAM on Board program to help them to get into the mindset that how you can have your own activities. Yeah.
So these exercises that I see over here, like here, this SOS on a beach or what is it?
It's a
they're
Spain, so I hope
with cars, they're
Yeah.
written with cars. But it's then an exercise to create SOS in the LEDs
Yeah.
on the board.
Yeah.
And then I see something else like a flashlight. Is
Yeah.
it explanation of how a flashlight works?
Yeah.
And then trying to code that yourself. Okay, so it has like there are real products out there, and we are going to teach you how they are built.
Exactly. And that's
really
why
nice.
I say it's a tool.
Yeah.
It's basically telling you the principles behind. So that's why we actually have the other side of it. You see a smart laser cutter and a 3D printer, also in our range as machinery, because we also want to build curriculum across the crafting, fab labs, and robotics.
Yeah.
Then basically you can have different structural parts.
Is everything open source, by the way?
Our software is an open platform, open API, because we have second development on it. Well, I don't know the details, but it is possible for anyone. It's free downloads and free to develop as well. You can put your own extensions. These robots based on Arduino, they are all open source hardwares, and the Python robots, they are more open API robots because they are more focused on the data processing, so they have a higher power to process data, not the like low level control, let's say.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
Nice.
and I'm wondering, so is there any like intellectual property that made things a success? Like with Lego, they had the Lego brick and they patented the Lego brick, and then for 20 years they were like the only one offering that Lego brick, and after that 20 years now dozens of companies are doing it. Is it something that you looked at as well? Is that a way that you went, or is it fully open source and trying to scale this up by having impact first and then maybe on the end looking at
I think
IP?
well, that's probably a question to our legal, but from my side is that we're creating an ecosystem. So our solution is basically to offer a complete solution that most fits in the education. The properties part, I know we have some of the protections in different places. For example, some designs of the beams or the structures, or also the design of the products and things. We always have something
All right.
planned
So,
there.
like these designs.
Yeah.
But like the material itself, like the iron.
This is
How
not
do you-
the material itself is not, but we do have like the outfit design, and also we have structural design, like how you design the beams and things.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is important for startup, I think.
Yeah, but
That's
I'm
the
wondering,
thing, right?
as a startup, it's very costly to set this up.
Yeah.
So I wonder how you made these steps. Like, first thing you were a do-it-yourself, like Instructables
Mhm.
platform. Then there were professors saying, okay, we should use this for education.
Yeah.
And then you said, okay, we can help and we can co-design hardware.
Yeah.
What were the steps?
For the product development, it's more like like you described. Basically, we start for hobbyist markets, and then we enter the education market because we see these products actually very easy for people who don't have knowledge about coding and robotics. They can quickly start with, and since then we're dedicated to education, trying to push this in the education parts. Yeah, and I think throughout the path, I think the most important part is to protect your brand, to build your brand as well. So from there are probably also some property thing that you need to protect. But for us, it's always important to show that this is from Makeblock, that we're trying to show this as a solution.
Yeah.
And we're also trying to show, we had actually discussion if we should put education in the logo, say Makeblock education, but on the other hand, Makeblock is education. So we don't really need to show this, but I will try to tell people we're targeting at STEAM education for future, and Makeblock is a quality educational solution provider. And that's where when you build a brand, you also, like Lego actually, they build a brand out of this, so people know their brands.
Yeah.
So that's also what we're trying to
The
make.
same strategy you're following.
Yeah.
We have time for like one more question
Mm-hmm.
before your final hot mess question. So like one more legit question. I think I want to throw one from, since we have totally asked you nothing on the list that we gave you in advance. It's great. But you've actually answered some of the questions, even though we didn't have to ask. So I think this one's a good one. So for you, what do you feel is the number one value that you believe helps keep the business going and growing? The value that
It's an interesting question. So I think if we're talking about the products, the solutions that we're rolling out, the most important thing for us is that it's actually oriented to users. It's every company is trying to say we're user oriented, but for us we have a very specific target group, which is education. Mostly we're talking about teachers and students. So we try to make sure of course we're still growing in this sense, but we have a very strong mindset. This thing must be fit in a scenario that teachers and schools that they actually need. And I think that's something that we're trying to value ourselves, that if we want to be in education professionally, we need to act like we are in education. And we do care actually in education, because Jason, our CEO and founder, actually several times internally talking about is that we need to make sure this thing goes beyond just using or playing, but we have a whole design of a pyramid about mindset training. Is that the lowest level is about how to use the tools like screwdrivers or maybe machines. You can use the tools, that's fine. But then it's facilitating. The second level is that you have to know the knowledge. For example, math, the equations you learn, whatever. But all this knowledge that you acquire is that it basically want you to have the ability to acquire knowledge, new knowledge in the future. That's the third layer. And this acquiring new knowledge basically make you an independent thinker. That's how you can look at the situation, solve the problem. So that's the softer skills. But all of them actually to help this person eventually becoming a responsible human being on the society. That's the ultimate goal of the education actually. So we want to, through all this kind of education, but not only looking at the tools, the lowest level, but we're looking at how we can use education, change this. Eventually everybody is a responsible world citizen, for example, and care about the environment, care about each other, teamwork. That's one of the keywords in MakeX competition as well.
Yeah.
So it's not only about robotics, but we are actually trying to becoming leading the concept also in education. And this concept, for example, with University of Cologne, with professors there, we trying to bring this also up into different academic area to show that how we can build and using the tools to develop to that part. So I think most important value is that we're always looking at beyond what just the tools and hardware, but we're really looking at how education should be and where the most important parts. And that actually get back to another way to explain this is that what would be the most urgent or valuable thing that we need to do to change this is actually currently we see is teachers. So we're not targeting after how many students using this or having fun after school training, but we're really looking at the existing educational system, how we can change it quickly, and the important part is that teachers get the knowledge about how to use different technology that implement into their classroom. So that's why this year we're taking out about $1 million actually to help different countries to do teacher training, dedicated teacher training, and also further help them to grow in their specialties. Yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's true. It's got to be
So
exciting.
that triangle is your mantra. It's like, okay, in every product that we produce, we want to create at least these layers of knowledge and of understanding, but also of problem-solving skills.
Yeah. So
And
a lot of
that's
these soft skills actually being planted in our activity plans, or our competition is also kind of activity plans.
Yeah.
And we promote these concepts during this, and we design all the competitions and programs in this. For example, MakeX Starter on the arena, it's always two teams, and they're not fighting against each other, but they're working together. It's called an alliance map.
Yeah.
And in the international competition, you will see it's actually two teams from different countries, like small kids, and they don't understand each other, and they have to communicate with each other and to negotiate different things, and they will find a way how to solve it.
It's not a competition. It's a collaboration game.
It's collaboration competition because you compete against the groups, but you always win as a team.
Awesome.
But you develop separately, actually.
Yeah.
So that's something like we're trying to promote as an example, like teamwork as important soft skill. It has to be in there.
So the teams that are coming together are also from different nationalities.
We MakeX actually 2019 we got about 45 countries organizing local events, including Europe, for example, Italy, Spain, France, Netherlands as well. And then this year we're trying to reach more countries. So
is it like the first robotics competition?
You call it a bit similar. MakeX.
MakeX.
Yeah. But for us, it's the competition itself is not a commercial site, so it's a end activity.
Yeah, so you gave like the instruction to do it yourself kit, and then teachers starting participating in this.
Yeah.
But you're not curating it; they are doing it themselves now.
No, we have our own design. We have about 25 people actually designing and maintaining the whole system of MakeX with rules, with arenas, props, extension kits, and activity plans.
It's like an Olympic game. Like every year, there's a huge organization.
We got a
for
committee.
Wow, that's crazy.
And we do international final in China every year with quite a lot of countries joining all over the world. So you see them going to China, super excited. Yeah.
I think I want to finish off with more of a personal question.
Sure.
Instead of your 24 hours left on 24 hours left.
Oh, that's also a personal question. But first of all, you didn't join this company from the start.
No.
So why did you join the company?
I joined 2.5 years ago. The reason why is actually I already know the company because we were friends also already before. But the idea is that so the company needs an expansion. We have a lot of customers locally in Europe, so basically they said I was already here in Netherlands for some years, so they asked me if I would like to help them to start the local office in the Netherlands. to support locally.
You lived here, you studied here, you worked
Yeah, I
here?
studied in Delft and then also worked a bit in the Netherlands. So
For other companies.
yeah, so first I was software developer actually before.
And then you choose to join this team because you knew you were friends with some of the founders, or?
Yeah, we were friends, but I think when I joined, one important thing for me is that I have to know this product, and I don't have to, beautify the way to present product, but I can be honest with the product.
Yes.
And I like in a way that how to place or market the products in the markets, instead of trying to cover different things, instead of stepping into mostly sales part, but I like to more see the strategic part, and I see a lot of value there. And I had some feedbacks from customers and schools, and they really truly love that what we are doing.
Yeah.
I also see a lot of problems as a startup that we need to cover, we need to solve. So that's why I think it's a good challenge.
For you, it's like, okay, this company is actually a company that listens to its clients, to its end users, and then develops further on.
That's something we're really proud of, actually. So we're not perfect. There are always a lot of issues coming, and working as a Chinese company, working with Europeans and Americans and everywhere. Yeah. But that's why when I started the office, I said I want a local team. So you have seen some of our teams, and they're from Netherlands, from Mexico, from we will have Italian, we have a British, we have Germans. So everyone is coming from here, truly knowing how to communicate with others. And then the communication between this team and China will be internal communication. So that will be, I always say, like, don't let the internal process drag you down, because we're one company. So how can that be something that you cannot overcome? Yeah. So leave the problems within ourselves, so then we can better help the customers. So we try to be a faster company and listening to our customers. That's why we have a really good partnerships with market leaders locally in Europe now.
Yeah, it's very impressive.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So personally, I hear that you seem to be like an open source enthusiast, right? If you are joining such a company,
a bit nerds.
Yeah, you can identify you as a little bit of a geek, but you are representing like the whole European market, right?
Yeah, I think,
and that's normally you have a completely different role, like someone with a business background or economics background. So I like that a lot. That if you are a technologist, you can actually become the marketing manager or the CEO of Europe without having that knowledge, but with the culture in the company that it's completely not focused on sales, but completely focused on creating a product that matters.
I think that's something, especially in education, is that it's not a fast selling industry, but it is highly about the relationships. So that's what we're trying to build. Actually, it is still about sales, but if you build the relationships, then the sales comes. So that's what we're trying to do. And I think anybody can be in different roles, find your own position, basically, that what you're good at. But I think still that's also one of our purposes, softer skills. If you are a really good thinker and try to solve the problems, then there will be no problems for you, and keep challenge yourself.
It's in that pyramid. You are the problem solver, and then you solve the problem, so you don't have to sell it anymore. You just solve the problem that you're facing.
Yeah, and then step out your comfort zone, because for example, when I was in university, like maybe 15 years or more, I won't say how many years. But when I was in university, we would like present some paperwork in your class, basically 25 people that you live together every day. My leg would shake. I was like so nervous about that, with the sweat and things.
It's not easy as a technologist being on stage.
No.
So you trained yourself a lot in that.
Yeah. But last year I had some talk in Estonia. It's actually a really big event there. I was on the stage giving talk to like 100, 200 people with like lights were so bright I can't see anything. I could put together with things just to walk through with our concept and everything, and it was all fine.
Yeah.
So
Because of the big light in your face, maybe. as
also,
well.
yeah, you can't see anything.
I have that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
But in between, basically, just like, is there an opportunity? Do you want it? Then challenge yourself. Don't sit back. If you say like, I don't know, I don't feel comfortable, then do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe this is a great start for the next question. Like, what was the most stressful situation for you when
Right.
you worked at Makeblock?
I think,
You are still working at Makeblock.
yeah. Well, there are quite a lot, especially as a startup, but we had the transition to move all the work from China to here. And there are a lot of transition work that we need to also to talk to the customers, and there are a lot of miscommunication before as well. So we need to set it right. And there were time, I think last year mostly, that we need to have a massive communication with customers, existing customers, and do a lot of adjustments, also contract business-wise things. So it was quite stressful back to them. But again, because of the team is so understand how to communicate locally here, and we through that process we also did a lot of change in China process-wise, how we can better serve the customers. So it was stressful in the sense that there are a lot of work and a lot of complaints, a lot of changes as well. But basically we made it through by just planning very well and looking at what would be the most important parts that we need to do, and also the important things that if everything is internal process, we ignore it and we change it later to make it happen. So think about it, it was quite stressful time, but now I'm really happy with what's happening in Europe, because it's all sorted out and now all fully focusing on growth now. Yeah.
So when you finish off your day, what makes you so happy with the job? What is that you get out of this job?
Interesting, because I never stop thinking about if I see different things, there's ideas, I write it down even after work. I think that's the nice part about this job, is that I'm actually really in it. I really like to think about every aspect that we are doing now. So I just simply like it, I think.
So if you would do it for the last, if it's the next 25 years and you want to leave a legacy, what would that be? Like, in your daily work, you like to work, but if there's a legacy that you can leave on this planet, what would it be? What would you change? Or
I think currently what we do is that if we actually see truly changes of education in general, systems or teachers in schools, we're already doing quite a lot of projects even with governments, but this is something that we want to see this being changed.
like a system change.
Yeah.
And a mindset change that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say that's a great place to stop right there. We're actually over time. This is really thrilling and super amazing. So you, who?
Yes. Very good.
Yes, we want to thank you,
you.
for spending some time.
It was
Thank you very
great
much.
to talk
Yes,
to you.
you're certainly
Thank
making
you.
an impact. So
Thank you very much.
happy to be in your presence.